If you were to make a list of the most milked to death game franchises out there, the Resident Evil series would rank very high on that list. I mean, every time I look up, there is another garbage Resident Evil game being made, whether it be a remake, a remaster, a spin-off, a this, a that, so on and so forth. I mean, the cow is literally on its last leg at this point. I mean, the poor thing is just saying, moo! You know, it can't even muster up the strength to get a full moo. It's just like, you know, and then it's like it passes out every time after that. They're trying to, you know, milk it, and nothing but dust is coming out. It's powdered milk at this point. There's just the cow has nothing left to give. He's been doing this job for years upon years. He doesn't have any more in him. But yet they keep coming. You know what time it is to try to get more milk. You know you're a lazy and talentless developer when you continue to milk and rehash the same series over and over again and can't come up with any fresh new ideas. Let's just spam Street Fighter. Let's just spam Resident Evil forever, huh, Capcom? Or should I say Crapcom? There's absolutely no talent or creativity to be found anywhere near that studio. I knew it wouldn't be long until another lazy, boring, uninspiring Resident Evil game was announced to the public. Ever since that terrible Resident Evil 2 remake came out, I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. So this is the direction we're going to go in now. You're just going to keep remastering games. You're going to keep remastering these terrible games with no improvements or anything. And that's your plan because you know you have a fan base of casuals, of fraud, fake gamers that are still going to go out and buy it each time. I knew what Capcom was on to before they even started. I knew it wouldn't take long for them to announce another one. And here it is, the Resident Evil 3 remake. I mean, come on, back on the PS1, the original Resident Evil 3 was garbage. It was a complete joke. It was a flop. It came out and flopped all over the place. No one bought that game or supported that game. Resident Evil just became quote-unquote popular in recent years. Nobody cared about Resident Evil back in the day. Nobody was talking about it. No one cared. But ever since this internet generation came into it, now all of these fake Resident Evil fans started popping up out of nowhere. And you're like, huh? When I was out there, nobody was talking about Resident Evil. Back in the day, no one cared. But now it's cool to be a Resident Evil fan. Now all these people love Resident Evil. Where were they at when the game was new? This is what happens when people just jump on a bandwagon. They just ride the hype. I guarantee these quote-unquote Resident Evil fans never even played the original games. This is what I'm so tired of seeing in gaming. I'm tired of seeing these fake fans hop on games, remakes of games they never even played the original of. How are you excited for Resident Evil 3 when you didn't even play the original? And if you did play the original, guarantee you didn't beat it. These people are so fake. You have no right to be excited for a remake if you didn't play the original. Because all you're doing is hopping on the bandwagon. All you're doing is riding the wave. Like a typical sheep. Doesn't make any sense, man. But this game, like I said, the original Resident Evil 3 was trash. But this one will be even worse because new games are always worse. Remakes are always worse than the original. Fact. You know, as bad as the original Resident Evil 1 was, or not 1, but Resident Evil 3 was on the PS1, I meant to say, at least it's retro. So I give it a pass just off of that. It's a retro game. It's an old school game. Okay, it has a little bit of my respect in that sense. Not a lot, like a tiny smidgen of my respect because it's a retro game and retro is always better. But it's still trash. So if that was trash, then what do you think this remake is going to be? Complete trash. I could never allow myself to be such a casual fraud. I'd play an inferior series like Resident Evil. Imagine actually being a Resident Evil fan. Like, that could never be me. I would never play an inferior series like this, let alone be a fan of it, when there are much better survival horror games out there. And let's get this out in open. There is nothing survival horror about Resident Evil games. Everybody's like, oh man, in Resident Evil games, they'll have you on the edge of your seat, man. They'll have you clenching every muscle in your body because you don't know what's going to happen, man. You have zombie popping out of this direction. You have zombie popping out of that direction. It's so dark and gloomy, man. So you gotta be on your toes, man, because it's so scary, man. And it's just like, what? There was nothing scary about Resident Evil games. Like, is this what horror is to you, morons? You definitely don't know anything about survival horror games. You think Resident Evil is scary. There's nothing scary about Resident Evil games. The only scary thing about them is the fact that it actually has a fan base. That's the true horror of it all. That there can be a group so mentally inferior, they would allow themselves to like something this bad. That's the horror of it all. That's what makes me say, whoa, Lord. Who gives me chills, shakes, and shivers just thinking about it. That's what true horror is. You ain't never known true horror until you see a group of individuals liking terrible things and that becoming the norm. People acting like there's nothing wrong with liking terrible products. That's the true horror of it all. Seeing gaming go from once being a great thing to the depths of the destruction that it's in right now. That's true horror. Waking up, realizing that the people that used to have respect for this gaming thing are all gone now. And what we're left with is a bunch of casuals that do nothing but play Call of Duty left and right. Do nothing but play Fortnite left and right. NBA 2K, Madden, all these mainstream games do nothing but hype up trash like this. Do nothing but buy DLC all day and microtransactions. Do nothing but buy remakes over and over again of games they never even played before. And hype them up. That's true horror. I don't want to hear about no horror from Resident Evil. There's nothing horror about it. But like I said, man, the Resident Evil 3 original was trash. And the remake will be no different. Same boring, bland story. Same bad characters. Same cheesy dialogue. Same cheesy cutscenes. Same boring, repetitive gameplay. Same bad graphics. And that's what the claim to fame was in the Resident Evil 2 remake. It was like, look at these graphics, man. These graphics are incredible. Oh, man, these graphics are amazing. What? Were we playing the same game? Making a game darker than the darkest of darkers does not mean that it's good graphics. The reason they made it so dark was because they can hide the ugly. If you just turn the brightness all the way down, then you can hide the ugly that's truly there. That doesn't mean it's good graphics. That means they're hiding the ugly. That game was so dark I couldn't see anything. But you want to talk about good graphics, man? You people ain't never seen good graphics. And speaking of Resident Evil 2, I mean, that game came out and flopped everywhere. It belly flopped all over the place like a fish out of water. You know, you take a fish out of water, put it on the ground, it's just flopping and flopping and flopping. You're just making them noises and you know, them weird noises that fishes make when they're flopping around. You know, can't breathe because they've been taken out of their element. That's how Resident Evil 2 flopped. Nobody was talking about that game. That game came out and immediately was forgotten about. The same day it came out, it was forgotten about. How is that possible? You won't find a soul still talking about Resident Evil 2. It's time to wake up, man. It's time to stop consuming garbage. It's time to become great. Strive to be someone like me who has a very successful YouTube channel, who is a very respected gamer in the gaming community. Everybody knows me. Everybody likes me. Everybody wants to be like me. A well-respected anime fan, someone with amazing taste who defies the limits of greatness on the regular. I'm the person you should aim to be. I'm the pinnacle of success. We need more people like me, not just in gaming, but in life in general. I'm the person that's going to lead the world into a new era of greatness, while you losers that like Resident Evil are going to be left behind begging to come with us elites, and we're going to calmly say, no. You had your chance. You had a chance to be great. You chose wrong, and now you must live with your decision. If you want to be great like me, do not support games like Resident Evil 3 Remake. Just don't. There are way better games out there, and a lot of people be, oh, but come on, yeah, well, if there's better games out there, man, can you give me a game? All you do is say everything sucks. Well, where's the good games at? You people don't deserve to know what games you need to play. You want to know what games I recommend? You want to know what games I play? Too bad. You ain't getting that from me. You had ample opportunities to support me and prove that you were willing to become higher level thinkers. You didn't want to do that. So why should I help you? Why should I go out of my way to help inferior gamers that had the opportunity to be great but didn't want to take it? You lost that chance. The ones that were willing to support me and become higher level thinkers, they get my recommendations all the time for anime, gaming, so on and so forth. They ask me, yo, what should I watch? What should I play? I'm giving them recommendations that are just elevating them to higher levels. But the rest of you frauds, you don't deserve to know what games I think you should play. What anime I think you should watch. That time has passed. Resident Evil 3 Remake garbage. Anybody that supports this garbage is not a real gamer, and they never will be.